We just finished the 2 days of the fourth summit. Can you reflect a little bit on what you're taking away from?
What I think has been so exciting this time, again, is that an institution actually proposes an art institution proposes the theme. And it was the Verbier Art Foundation with Jessica Morgan. And of course, this is a foundation in the 70s, which is kind of young in the history of museums. But very interestingly, the Verbier Art Foundation is famous for all their land art sites. And the collection is, so to say, spread in real estate and landscape. And I think a lot of people had asked, so why is there people talking about feminism? Why is there people talking about, ecology from other indigenous people?
Right. Yeah.
And I think what I find so interesting in this setup is that they always can bind it back to the institutional question. And I say, so how would the DIA look today if in the 70s they would have collected also women?
Right.
I think that some of the projects they're now looking at, is like the Michael Heiser in the landscape, which ask for preservation, which is probably not fully correct today anymore. And I think a lot of the talks dealt with what have we done, how can we measure the contemporary against the history, and how can we make things better. And I think so feminism, of course, is interesting when you think about hundreds of years of decision making from a more patriarchal viewpoint in history, and the question of how do you build. A lot of talks dealt with reactivating knowledge that has been around, but it has not been used to many reasons, like architectural building. Philippe Rahm taking away the idea that the design is made by the author of the architect instead of the architecture being informed by the climate and then being designed through decisions and knowledge of that.
You've been involved from the inception. You were part of the... You were basically the one that sort of helped formulate this particular format for the summit. This is the fourth one now. You yourself curated the very first one. Can you put this one in context or reflect a little bit on the whole process?
There's actually two things. One thing is that I find it absolutely amazing how the four summits kind of build up. Actually, they're very often during this summit, I said, oh, we could have invited Rem Koolhaas again, or we could have invited so-and-so again to look at the same theme from a different angle. And I think when you kind of break what the themes are, like with the Stedelijk Museum, we asked the question of growth. How do we, change ideas of
which locks into this
expansive ideas, and maybe we could rather look at them as values and ethics than the technological impact on humans and the world, and then the idea of the loss of collective consciousness and if you want, democracy or the collective responsibilities. And that, of course, directly binds us to the question on ecology and climate change.
How can we, in a better way, guarantee that the rippling effect that comes out of these 2 days resonates in the broader public that we're aiming to reach? How can we?
Well, first of all, I think one thing already functions very well, that because we're continuously involving people from other contexts, and this is, and I think particularly the private involvement of people from here, that of course come from everywhere, with the people coming to visit, particularly for that, is like an amazing multiplication for that. It's like a really polyphonic thing. The other thing is what already has been started in a way with that there is a book always after the symposium, which again travels to other contexts and also really says that we're not sitting just here and talking a few days and then that's over. Maybe you can look it online, but that's actually something is produced and takes other realities. And I can imagine some other things happening from that. Like I think people really are very much open to take consequences and maybe get involved in realization of projects that go beyond that. And that would be a dream, of course, to have like more realities coming out of that.
Okay.